Oh, here we go.
All right, hello everybody. Welcome to the streaming for the Android Netrunner 2015 World Championships here at the Fantasy Flight Games Center. I am Jaffer Batika, and this is
Zach Tualtimus.
And we are going to be commenting on round 4 of Android Netrunner. The feature table that you are about to see is going to be quite a match, I think, already, because we have reigning world champion Dan versus Australian national champion Daryl Russell. Both of these guys are going into round 4 with 5-1, and yeah, so pretty impressive records already with the decks that they're running. So I guess we can go ahead and say what they're playing. It may be fun to reveal it when they come up, but Dan Dargenio is playing a standard House by Aroid Engineering the Future ID, and he's also playing Valencia on his runner side. Daryl Russell from Australia is going to be playing Wizard Master Gamer, and it looks like, yep, and he's playing his Jinteki Personal Evolution to open with, and Dan has opened with Valencia. And already, I think that Daryl has to know what kind of deck he's looking at if he's already seeing Joshua B, Fall Guy, Turntable, and is that already Wireless Net Pavilion? No, that looks like Drug Dealer. So he's got to know what kind of deck. Yeah, Drug Dealer. Yeah, so he's got to know what kind of deck he's up against.
Well, there's already an agenda stolen as well.
Oh, all right. Yep. Pulled the Chronos Project. Well, that's
or scored.
No, scored the Chronos Project right out of the bat. Yeah. Which is not bad because, you know, there's nothing much going already. I think he just wants to get ahead of the scoring because if not, he may just lose to really aggressive milling. Another Drug Dealer, interesting. So he's just willing to pay the 2 credits to draw 2 cards. Wireless Net Pavilion. Yeah. Already the hardcore milling setup. Oh, no, there we go. We got to turn the other way. So it looks like Dan scored the Chronos Project, but Daryl scored a Gila Hands, so his economy is going to do okay. Pulls the Faust.
I'm really excited to see some of the sort of tricks and mind games that are going to be coming up.
So can't lose money.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's got to be a lot of tricks and mind games on Daryl's side because he is just playing just straight up Jinteki, bing, 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 ping, ping, ping kind of net damage deck. More traps than agendas in the deck, probably. So not too different from the deck that Dan played against last year, against Min Tran's Jinteki PE deck, which was the finalist last year. So nothing that Dan's not too used to, except, you know, but he is playing a very different deck this year. Last year, Dan went to the finals with an Andromeda deck. This year, he's got a Valencia deck, which I don't even know how much he's going to be running with this deck.
3, draw first, is that fine?
May not need to. And there goes the Double Leak reversal.
So Asian, maybe a run at Archives.
Yeah, I think just the run at the central server to put Data Leak reversal into play, but I think that maybe that might be the last run he ever does.
Do you think he's going for a full mill then?
He might not have to. I mean, Daryl is just putting the agendas out, right? I mean, he could just run them. You know, they are just 1-point agendas. He can probably take the 1 net damage pretty easily. And he's also got the 2 Drug Dealers, and he draws on the Corp turn. So even if he goes down to 0 cards, you know, from hitting a snare, on the Corp turn he'll just draw up to 2 cards, you know, with both Drug Dealers in play. So. And I think Dan mentioned there, like, he had no money to lose to his Drug Dealer, so, you know, he may just run on 0 money forever.
Oh, wow. Yeah, at a certain point with Valencia and the bad and the Drug Dealer and everything just sort of helping you out, you kind of don't need money anymore.
No, all he needs to do is just get that tag and then just mill it out. And, of course, he has got the Wireless Net Pavilion, which makes resources that much harder, on top of the Fall Guy. Just prevent a resource from being trashed. So that stuff is going to stay in play for a while, which presents a problem for Daryl.
Especially if you're running a kill deck.
Yep. Because most of the kill conditions are based on running. He has got V-Rig going to do exactly what this deck wants to do, which is Aggressively mill, and yet he is not milling yet. I think he just, oh, there goes Paparazzi. So he is tagged.
And now it begins.
And immune to meat damage, but he can just start milling at any time.
He got his rig out surprisingly fast.
Yeah, he got his rig out before I think we came on the stream.
Yeah,
that just immediately came together.
Got some money in his hand that he probably does not need to use.
He's holding a breaker in his hand that he probably does not need to use. Daryl has to be sweating. I mean, with the rig up like that, I mean, he can put out the 3-1 agendas, but can he keep them?
And even if he does get rid of the data leak reversely, he's just sitting on another one. It's just ready to put it out when needed.
All right, so he installed double advance.
Who's Joshua B?
All right. Yep, okay, so he's just going for the straight hardcore milling. So just he activates Joshua B, gets the extra click, and just uses those extra clicks to just mill off the top 5 cards of Daryl's deck.
Wow. This could be a pretty quick first round.
I think so, yeah. I mean, he's going to, Daryl Mushin Notions, and...
So at this point, and you think that Daryl would probably almost want to, sort of start to pass on the sort of kill you aspect of the deck and just really try to push those agendas forward.
I think that's all he can do, right? I think he just has to rely on the fact that he's got enough traps in the deck that Dan's not going to want to run, and therefore that might just make it safe to just score out his agendas. Yep, there goes another mill 5.
There goes some June bugs.
Yep. And Dan has to know that that he is just going to mill out as many of those traps as he can along with the agendas.
Yeah. So he's just placed that Jackson Howard face down there in his in the farthest left remote server there. So I would expect that when he finally uses that to get some cards back, that it'll all go towards agendas. You almost have to. Those archives are swimming in it.
Oh yeah, and he's got no ice to go over there. And even if he did, he has no res ice, so Dan could just go right through with blackmail, using Valencia's built-in back publicity.
So my guess is he's going to save the Jackson for when Dan makes that work.
So Dan's just going to see how many cards are left in the deck. Does he even need to run at all, or is he just going to just mill him right out? He missed the count there. Not that many. The clock is ticking, and unfortunately, it is not in Daryl's favor.
Wireless net, mill 3.
Whoa. Is that another wireless net pavilion?
It is.
Wow.
Yeah, that data leak reversal is going nowhere. I mean, even if Daryl could, it
looks like Daryl doesn't. Oh, those are Daryl's credits, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's got some credits. Yeah. Attempts to trash the DLR, goes to the Fall Guy. Absolutely. And then just takes some more Helahands money.
Fall Guy mill 4.
There goes another Fall Guy.
Ooh. Oh, man.
Yep. Boy, yeah, and it's just basically just turning Daryl's deck just right over.
This is just a pure example of how a deck works exactly as it's intended.
Exactly.
And right off the bat, Dan is just killing it.
Yep. So he trashes the Fall Guy, but it'll still take 6 more credits to get rid of that data leak reversal.
Yeah, 6 more credits and another 6 cards at least going into the trash.
And even as you can see in Dan's hand, he's got another DLR, but he can just put it back into play, and he has the Paparazzi, which means it won't turn off. It'll be on as soon as he puts it.
He has 2 of them in his hand.
Yeah,
he has 2 in his hand.
Boy, oh boy. Well, I mean that's gotta feel okay for Daryl, but he has to know that there's at least one more.
And he's going to find out.
Oh, sorry.
4 cards left in the deck.
4 cards left.
Boy, that's gonna be another shot. Yep.
Okay, so for each click, how many cards are going into the archives with data leak reversal?
Just the one.
Just the one. All right, but he's just tearing through them.
Yeah.
Mill.
No, yeah, sorry, yeah.
Wow. Both players are their decks are almost depleted already at this point.
Yeah, but this is very much Dan's game.
Oh, absolutely. It's going to get to the point soon where Daryl just won't be able to draw cards.
Yep, and that will be game for him on that side.
Install gain 3.
Yeah, well, I think that that's a desperation move because Dan can probably just play the blackmail to get past that unresed ice. And,
No.
right. Mill, and then
Well, he has Jackson Howard just sort of barely keeping him in the game.
I don't even know if that would keep him in the game. He's got to get he's got to have more than 3 agendas. And even if he did, if he puts the agendas back in the deck, Dan just runs R&D. There's no ice there. Yeah, unfortunately, Dan lost his account siphons to the street urchins, but account siphon was never a factor. I don't think there's the last wireless net pavilion, and he pops Jackson Howard just so he can draw a card, draw 3 cards, or 5. Put 3 cards back in the deck and then draw a card at the beginning of his turn.
So we've already got like 3 points of agendas in there that I've seen.
So he puts back Jackson Howard in an attempt to rescue a few more of his cards.
6. There's 8 points of agendas at least in there.
No. Is it?
Yeah. Looks like 8 points worth of agendas.
Ronan, that's an interesting choice. I'm not sure that he's going to be able to kill Dan, and medical research fundraiser. But I mean, none of those are agendas because he knows that Dan could just run R&D. So I think that what he's hoping for it is the Jackson Howard to put a few more cards, stay alive a little bit longer.
I'm not sure what he can hope to do by staying alive longer. I mean, on the off chance that those 2 advanced items down there are agendas, then
one of them is not. One of them is a cerebral override. So that's just 3 ways to advance this. But yeah. So yeah, it looks like Dan is just going to do Joshua B. Oh no, he's just running around. That's kind of on a frame there, but. Runs R&D again. Sees the Ronin and trashes it.
Definitely,
and that's it.
There it is. That's it. There's just no more cards he can draw.
Yeah, well, that was one in which I don't think Dan rigged up so fast, put it together so fast that I don't think Daryl stood a chance. It was relentless
fast as it gets.
Yeah. I mean, man, there is the hardcore Valencia Mill combo coming together as fast as possibly can.
Got to run them to find out, man.
Well, let's see. Up next, we're going to have Wizard coming up against
Dan's
tall HB.
So you should have to try and score out. But
deep ice, deep clear.
I think turn 1's ring table.
They're talking a little bit about the game there while they're shuffling, but yeah, I mean, I do wonder, like, is Dan on track to repeat this year? Do you think?
Well, I mean, just based on that run, that run with his runner, like I would say yes, but there's still a lot of contenders there, and this is still pretty early in the preliminary.
Yeah, no, we're still only about halfway through, so lots of things can happen. There's a lot of really great players out there. We have national champions from all over the world here. Let me pull up the list if I can find it. But we've got national champions from the UK, from Australia, as Daryl's there. We have the Nordic champion, the German champion, Polish champion, French champion, not to mention just really great players from all over the United States and Canada. We have representatives from, I think, all of the major metas around the country. So hello to all of them. Thanks for sending the representatives out to present some really great play.
Well, Dan is the Australian national champion right now. So I mean,
Daryl is the Australian.
Daryl. I'm sorry. Dan is the
reigning world champion.
Daryl, the Australian national champion.
So already we're seeing some hardcore play. I mean,
and we'll see what happens. And they're both 5-1 going into this round. Both 5-1 going into this round.
Well, let's see if they split. I mean, if they split, that'd be something interesting, because I mean, Daryl's deck. I mean, we can talk about it when it comes up on the stream here, but I mean. It's a pretty solid Wizard deck. I mean, it's just a good stuff Wizard deck. Just gets in, gets accesses. We'll trash any assets that hit the board. We'll trash any. We'll trash upgrades that hit the board. Against this, against Dan's deep ice glacier deck, that may not matter. He may not be able to get the accesses that he's looking for, or at least not in the scoring servers. But we'll see how deep the central servers are. Probably pretty deep.
Well, if he can get some really good runs out early, though, then that could give him the advantage he needs.
Yeah, I think it's an Anarch versus Anarch here, Valencia versus Wizard here, and both of them have account siphon as a sort of a piece of their deck. Like obviously it didn't come up in Dan's game at all, but I think what Daryl's going to want to see, like right in his opening hand against this ETF deck, is an account siphon. Just if you can get the HP deck on its knees immediately, like hopefully it can't get back up again. I mean. But Dan is playing some good stuff to be able to recover pretty well from being siphoned. So we'll see what happens.
If a siphon hits fast enough and fast enough and gets it going right off the bat, then it can still be a problem.
All right. Well, so Dan is going for the most aggressive play. I guess he doesn't care if he gets siphoned. He's just going to go ahead and
Getting some economy, so just in case, I guess.
Yeah. And I think he's not. Yeah, so he's just rezzing it just to resin, I think, and he's just going to let Daryl trash it. I think he knew the
account siphon came in.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So he just
and there we go. See,
res the Adonis campaign just to get rid of the money.
Oh, and then there's an agenda right
Pulls
off the
the
bat.
Vitruvius.
Once again, like we've had some really just fast starts with these Anarchs in this matchup.
Yep.
Wow.
I love it at this point. I was hoping to get one of his mediums in play.
Oh, does he have one? Oh, there it is.
Oh, there it is. Yep. Boy, these Anarch decks are just going as fast as humanly possible, just doing what they do.
Absolutely.
Does he take one more run at R&D?
Why not?
Yeah, I think you have to. Just as long as it's open, take advantage of it.
He doesn't have much money, and he's got it unprotected. Build up that medium. If the Corp does waste an entire turn to like kill the virus counters, then they're still just as poor as ever.
All right, so he trashes the Breaker Bay grid, so that is another thing that that Dan could use to get his economy back up. Oh,
and he has the money. He has the creds to score it.
Wow. Yeah, so these are some
speed Anarchs.
Fast-moving games. All right, so Dan is just trying to protect R&D from that beastly medium attack, and he might do it. But then again, like if that's Bioroid, which could very well be. Oh, it's Ichi.
Ooh, that's click-throughable right there.
Yep. So he goes ahead and clicks
goes
through,
and looking at 4.
Worth it to look at 4? Oh yeah. No, absolutely. Trash Caprice. Do not let a Caprice hit the board. He let the other Adonis campaign go, but.
Well, I mean, you just have to make the choice of whether you want to trash them every time, right? So,
all right, so Dan goes ahead and purges viruses, as well he should, because he cannot take any more deep hits like that.
Let's see what Wizard pulls for his next trick.
It's the remote, and it's a Turing. He's just going to click through. Clicks through, trashes the Adonis campaign.
The money.
Boy, these are some expert guys. They are just going so fast. Blinding speed.
You barely even see them. Their hands are going so fast on the table.
Yep, trashes the Eve campaign. He is not going to let Dan have a dime.
Just decks being annihilated left and right.
But Dan is looking for a hard run-ender somewhere. And he does. But, well, it's not really a hard run-ender. It's hard enough, I suppose.
What got tossed on the top there?
Got an Eli on top.
Oh, an Eli. All right, well, that'll at least slow down the clicks.
Oh, and then he hits an Architect. Oh, which is he going to put in? Do you think he goes economy, or do you think he goes the agenda?
Is he, what is that, 1 credit that he's left with right now? It's hard to tell.
No, he had 1 credit yet, so.
You almost kind of have to go.
Yeah, no. He's putting the Jackson in. Just thinking about it.
Well, Jackson's a good idea. It's always a good idea.
Yeah, but especially since he's only got the 2 credits. I think if he had 3 credits or 2 credits, I think the correct move would have been the ABT, because Daryl is already out of clicks, could not run the turn.
Correct.
Right, hits the hand, sees some ice, another Turing.
Handful of ice.
Handful of ice is very expensive, though. So if Daryl can get in there before Dan can get the money to put the stuff back in play, nope, just takes 3 click for credits. But then he's holding that hedge fund, so he is back in business as far as economy goes.
You've got a John Massanori in hand.
Hedge fund.
Getting all the money.
He's double tagged, and he does not care. He does not have any resources he cares to use. So Adonis campaign comes up. takes the money.
This could be the point where Dan starts to turn things around.
I think so because he also put the did he put the Caprice in the scoring serve?
No, Caprice is still.
You didn't see a Caprice out of R&D.
Oh, was there?
Well, I think it might have been.
I saw such a blur.
Yeah, I know. These guys are going so fast. It's hard to commentate on. All right, so he injects, and,
Works.
but he loses 3 programs, which is almost as bad as you can get with inject. You know, the only thing worse would be losing 4 programs. But he gets three credit compensation. But I think that he would rather have had the parasite on the Turing. Especially, he's also got an open archive, so he could have been running some virus tokens onto the data suckers. But that is not to be.
Well, he's got the deja vus.
That's true. That's
You can
true.
pull them back if he needs them.
Yeah. So he just does dirty laundry run on archives. Just wanted to get a little bit of money in hand. Just fine.
At this point, it's sort of deciding on his next target.
Yeah, at this point it might be a money race, and a money race that Dan is winning because Dan has clearly got plenty of money to res his ice. He's got money to play the side game with Caprice if he decides to put something into the scoring server, and there he goes. He ices up archive, so no more free runs on archives. And he plays Day Job, just takes the 8 credit net. Yeah. So, it's a money race because that's pretty much all that Daryl can do right now is hopefully stay ahead of the money curve, which is currently not happening. But
it's hard to do against engineering in the future.
Yeah. Especially that big thick ice, right? Because they're an economic hit. They're an economic hit when it gets rezzed, but for the rest of the game, it'll just stay up and annoy him.
If he ever does get through, at least he doesn't have to worry too much about credits and trash.
No, not at all. He had a pretty good run too in R&D while it was undefended, just trashing stuff right out.
But it's slowed down now.
It's slowed down quite a bit. So let's see. So in an effort to get past that Turing, what does he have? I think he's playing Yogg, which is no help.
But I mean, he's going to need to get some of those parasite and data suckers out. I think the data suckers would just be super helpful.
If indeed he could get the tokens on there.
Because once he can start getting past the ice, then he can start doing the trashing and he can start accessing what he needs to do. Get that medium back to that form again.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Turing is immune to AIs, so any knights that Daryl draws are going to be ineffective against it. So he's just got 1 of Yogg, he's got 1 of David, right? So if necessary, if he really wants to make a run at that server, he can put out David as Turing is 5 strength over the remote. He puts out the parasite.
There we go.
So give it some time to simmer on there.
So Turing's actually pretty powerful right now because it is protecting a remote server.
It is, yeah.
So what is the actual number on that?
I believe
plus
it's
5.
Yeah, or it goes up to 5 strength.
Up to 5
so
strength.
within
Okay,
David
good.
range. But you can also just run it and spend 3 clicks breaking it. But I think Daryl knows that that the upgrade in that server there is something that's just gonna tax him. So Caprice or an Ash. So even if he made the run on his first click, spent 3 clicks getting in, there's no guarantee of actually accessing anything. So Dan install advances. Couldn't tell if he double advance. I think he just installed advance.
It's a single advance, yeah.
Wasn't sure if that was glare coming off the dice. So stall advances. He's going to make the run on his first click and just try for it. Hits another Turing.
Double Turing.
Yeah, so there's no way he's getting through
strong.
that. Yeah. Yeah, and with Knight and Faust just unusable on it.
Absolutely.
And it's so high strength that just a Yogg all by itself is not going to do it.
I mean, you can have those parasites out there slowly bringing it down, and you can maybe get some of those data suckers out to sort of help boost it down some more, but it's almost too time intensive at this point to be like focusing on that server.
Sure. So Daryl got off to a pretty strong start, scoring 4 points right away, but there goes Dan.
Oh no.
Scoring an ABT, and does he fire it? Oh, it all just goes right in the bin.
Oh man.
It's kind of the worst case scenario.
If there's all it takes is a 3-point agenda in there, and then and then that's game for Daryl. And here we go.
What is it? Is it a hard run under?
He needs one if there's...
Oh, but he hits the Architect, which means that if he did lose any... Oh, look at that. He throws out Jackson Howard. to put some economy back in the deck. Yeah, so what's he going to throw back in? Economy or the Caprice? I think he does the economy.
His economy's doing pretty well, though, I'll have to say right now. I don't think it's incredibly crucial at this point, but yeah, never hurts.
No. And did he put the agenda back in? Looks like he did. So he did not decide to just throw the agenda out into the scoring server.
Those architects are handy.
Yep, they absolutely are. I think it must include in any HB deck for sure, and we see it across so many other decks.
Yeah. It just allows for so much versatility. Like when the runner hits it,
Yep.
it gives you so many options, and that's really what you need.
All right, hits R&D, sees the Eli. It's not clicking through that. Draws a card and
he's got Desperado in his
Hacktivist.
hand.
That's a good choice, very good choice. So anything that's not an ice is going to cost Dan a card randomly out of his hand. So
When resing it, right?
when resing it. So installs, advance. There goes another parasite token. Might not be much help because it's within Yogg range, but even so.
You've still got the other one. You'd be using up all your clicks, and then who knows what's under there?
Yeah.
Who knows what's under there? And
So he spends I've had worse to just draw some cards. But
well, he's got another account siphon, but at this point,
yeah, he's got a lot to get through.
That's the one to get rid of.
Well, he's going to try for it anyway, I think, just to force up the ice.
Let's see if Dan reses anything.
Doesn't res the first one. Does res the Ichi, though. And unfortunately, Daryl is on his third click, so yeah, he's going to lose a program either way. Which one does Dan choose? Probably the Mimic, because that'll... Yeah, there goes the Mimic. So, yep, Architect is back on, and hits the Architect. Dan's going to look at the top 5, and then maybe install something from his hand or archives.
And let's see. So this is he's used up all his clicks too. So if he does get something sort of nice in his hand, he could just install it and hope to protect it on his turn.
No, pulled an NAPD, which...
Is that another Turing in his hand? That is.
Oh, he just throws out the Architect at no cost over R&D. Left the NAPD in there, and why wouldn't you? And he's going to install which? Decisions.
Yeah.
Installs the Adonis campaign, which, because Daryl is out of clicks, he's definitely able to res. Yep, so he does it. He's going to take the random loss from Hacktivist meeting.
Ooh. There's an agenda floating around in there, and
There's another one.
He misses it both times. And like every time that Dan has gone down to like 0 credits, it's always been for the exact perfect reasons, and just to sort of really like keep himself in the game. And then he takes his time and he's building his cash flow up again, and then and at this point, like it's always sort of like an ebb and flow. So you've got the runner who comes in and they make their big move and they spend all their credits and they do whatever they need to do, and so Dan is spending credits to like keep up with that, but then once it gets to this sort of like stalemate point, like he's got breathing room and he has enough credit generation to sort of like get back up to speed again before the runner can charge through.
Secret weapon of HB is just every time you install something, just gain a credit, right? And if you just put an asset out there, just cost you nothing, gain 1. So he takes his Adonis campaign money, and you just saw he scored a global food initiative, which is it's worth 3 points to the corp, but only 2 points to the runner. So even if Daryl had stolen it, it would not have won him the game.
So what are your thoughts? Like if you were running right now, would you be wanting to get rid of that Adonis campaign?
I think at this point the pressure is on so hard that he may just want to just hit the central servers and hope to get lucky, because at this point I don't know if he's going to be able to get into the scoring server.
He's got Desperado. Oh, there we go.
Well,
probably wanted to wait for that.
Well, maybe just keep Dan low enough.
Yeah.
He's got the Mimic back into play, though, so he can get past the Architect again.
Unfortunately, there's not really anything to be had in archives.
Yeah. I bet he wishes he had a Data Sucker to charge up Mimic against Ichi. He certainly doesn't want to spend his whole turn just clicking past Ichi's. Dan installs a card, missed it, didn't see it. Maybe another upgrade? Or it could just be a 3-2 agenda. It could just be ABT or Project Vitruvius for the win. Okay, so Daryl installs a Corroder, which will get him past the Eli.
And now it's just time to get some cash so you can pull off some clutch runs.
Yep.
It's really, at this point, it's going to be about timing it right. And like running when you have the biggest chance at getting an agenda.
Yeah, he's just taking some extra money here.
See, there's an agenda in Dan's hand.
Yeah, plays the hedge fund just to get his money back up.
Absolutely.
And advances, or just one advance? Just one advance. So that's possibly the NAPD we saw earlier, which means that even if Daryl gets in, it's just going to cost him 4 credits to steal, which is a massive hit.
But he almost has to go for it if he can.
No, he has to. He must.
Because that could be the game right here.
So I think he puts the knight on the outer piece on the remote server and just goes for it. No, well, he can't because he can't get past the Turing. He's already spent 2 clicks. Not a lot of good choices here. Maybe he puts it over R&D. He's looking over his choices, like, what am I going to do here?
Would it make any sense to put the knight on Turing?
Can't. It's immune to AIs.
There you go. Right. Sorry. Yep. There we go again. Yep. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. It is a very strong piece of ice. Very, very strong. So he takes a run at archives for the dirty laundry money, but that may not be enough. In fact, if
is this going to be it?
I think he's just checking his hand size. Nope, sorry.
Getting some money,
Yep,
and
there
there's
it
the
is.
game. There it is.
All right, well, congratulations, reigning world
Wow.
champion Dan Dargenio. And I think Daryl was doing his best there. Both times he was just under insane pressure, and
It was really neat to see these Anarch decks go so fast right off the bat, though.
yeah, true. But, the HB just went a little bit fast, a little bit more money. Not a little bit more money, a lot more money. I think that was the other thing. Just keeping Daryl out was that he did not have the money to put his breakers into play and to just make some runs to power that median, and got behind on the ice race as well. So ice to ice race, and that's the game.
Yep, Dan did a good job keeping the money when he did it and spending it when it was necessary, and he took the win.
Yep.
And I really enjoyed seeing that super fast Valencia deck in action.
Yeah, it was incredible just how fast that came together. I mean, like as they were setting up, I think we were just talking, just saying stuff here, and then suddenly this game has just already run away like a bullet out of a gun.
All right, well, it looks like we're going to take a short break. We'll have an interview with Team Covenant coming up pretty soon. And, we'll be back for the next round shortly.
Yeah, we're coming back to round 5 of the Netrunner Swiss preliminaries, 5 of 8 after the interview with Team Covenant.